cut this because that's genuinely the single worst transition in history.
Guess who's back, baby? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Co-Conspirators Podcast. I'm your host, Calum, and I'm joined once again by John.
Hi, everyone.
And Luke.
It's fantastic to be back, Calum.
I know. It feels like slipping into a comfortable pair of slippers. And we'll ignore the fact it's probably been nearly a year, but, you know, we've been busy.
About 8 months since the last video.
I say we've been busy. What's everyone been up to, if anything, in these still strange and still pandemic times?
To be honest, absolutely nothing. Working, relaxing, playing some PlayStation and watching football.
Pretty standard stuff. Pretty much they say the exact same thing here. Nothing interesting at all. Well, nothing that could have warranted an 8-month hiatus, but, you know.
Sometimes you just got to take a break. It's all about quality over quantity.
Absolutely. It's kind of fitting that we did end, our first stint of podcasts with the Dark Ages. That's
that isn't a purposeful Easter egg, then. Nothing is.
So the Co-Conspirators lore is rich and deep. And hopefully we'll be adding 2 more in the future as we're going to try and experiment with the format a little bit instead of being rigidly sticking to 3 conspiracy theories, discussing them at length. We're going to just sort of have a chat, talk about what's been going on in the weird and wonderful world that is, 2022 now. Feels weird saying.
Yeah, I think the old format isn't something we're going to write off completely. I think we've all kind of needed this break, just all been a bit busy with other stuff, and it might not sound like it at times, but it does take quite a lot of research and stuff to kind of put out the podcast, and I think we drained ourselves. We started off uploading more frequently than we could probably handle. I would like to go back to that format at some point. I think it works quite well.
It did work well. Just looking back on it, I think there was a point towards the start we did a podcast every single week for about a good 6-7 weeks at least. And that's
what lockdown would do, is
I know, yeah. Yeah, so I wasn't working at the time, so I did have the time to edit them and stuff. But yeah, now we're all working. We've got lots of responsibilities to deal with. And we've been let out of our lockdown a little bit here and there in fits and starts.
I'd say the UK is out of it for good now until there's a new case of bird flu today in Wales. Bird flu's got, from memory, like 60% death rate. So, that starts kicking off. 60% of the country gets wiped out. We're not only in lockdown, everyone's hiding in a fucking bunker in their garden. I ain't catching that. I've already gone to the shops to stock up on beans and long perishables.
Just in case bird flu kicks.
I don't need to worry about that. I've got some nice moss in the garden.
It's just guessing. It's a crazy time at the moment. It's been like this for years. It's not. I hate to say it, but it's coming this new normal, this buzzword that everyone's going on about, which conspiracy theorists among us really want to resist. Say myself among it to a certain degree.
Yeah, I think a lot of people now not a lot of people, a lot of countries have just accepted it's here to stay, and you got to get your life back to normal. I mean, you still have got the odd country that locks down after getting 2 cases or whatever, but I mean, if they're going to do that, they're going to be doing that in perpetuity.
I think China locked down an entire city because there was 3 cases.
Yeah, Hong Kong's about to enter another lockdown, so...
Which, I mean, that just slightly still begged the question, were they the ones that released it? If they're still locking down, they haven't completely sorted themselves out.
On to this, actually, because we've had a lot of time to mull over this, and realistically, in the world, it's been all that's been mentioned. Like, I don't watch the news anymore. I used to watch the news. I can't bear to watch it because it's the same thing every day. Yeah. Anyway, on to China and starting it. You look at any statistics in any country, some people choose not to believe the statistics. Personally, I do. But no one under the age of 50 without serious medical conditions is dying. So how did the doctor who discovered it in China die from it when he's a healthy, 40-year-old man? It's crazy.
I think we touched on that in one of the episodes when it actually happened. And in essence,
I
concluded he definitely was assassinated.
Well, yeah. Alternatively, I think he was assassinated. But it equally wouldn't surprise me if China and North Korea just literally kill anyone with coronavirus just to stop it spreading. That's the GOAT method of stopping coronavirus spreading. Just kill anyone who tests positive.
I'm sure they did that with plagues and stuff in the Middle Ages. Or they would just ship them off to an island or something. Say, fend for yourselves, which is effectively, hanging them out to dry.
I did read some stat though. I don't know the source or the validity of it, but I remember. Because people question why have China got so few cases and stuff, so few deaths as well. And someone said, in essence, there was something like 20 million phone SIMs in China have been disconnected over the last couple of years, i.e. implying those people actually have died, but they're just not going on their official numbers, which I think is a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's been a problem, not just in China, although China would be the one to cover it up the most, but like the excess mortality of some countries is crazy. Like Russia had an excess mortality of like 800,000 over the last year, but only a handful of them were actually reported as like COVID deaths or whatever. So
whereas we seem to be going the other way, don't we? Because there's people saying that people are being reported as COVID deaths when they're not.
Yeah,
so it's interesting why one would do one would do the other.
I think the UK method is if you die within 28 days of a positive COVID test, they put it down as COVID, which when you've got Omicron and something crazy like 1 in 20 people have COVID today, then in 28 days, if 1 in 20 people have got COVID, then your death stats are going to be inflated because people are going to die naturally and they're just have tested positive for it. So it will get inflated. The more cases we have, the more it will get inflated.
I was just going about to come on to that exact point because I think I remember talking about on one of the conspiracy podcasts with coronavirus. In America, I think there's a conspiracy that hospitals are getting paid more for COVID deaths, so it's almost incentivized to put COVID on the death certificates. Or the case
America.
So as a Brit with free healthcare, having to pay for it, it's such a beaten dead horse. But still, why? Just why? I mean,
it's not only that. It's just they have to pay for like their rapid flow tests and their PCR tests as well. Like we can just get a box sent over, but the whole situation that's crazy. Like you have to go in an ambulance. You have to pay like $5,000 if you have to call an ambulance. Like, what the fuck? You have to spend like $10,000 to give birth. It's like fuck that. You're giving birth in my bed or whatever. I don't know. Not in my bed, but
your insurance and stuff covers most of it. Or if
you pay less tax, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's not that different. Like when I was in America, I spent $3,000 on health insurance, and I got tonsillitis, and I had to pay $600 because insurance doesn't write off the cost entirely. It just covers some of it. So it cost me like $1,800 to have tonsillitis, and I had to pay $600 of it. I didn't pay it. But
it'd be cheaper to just fly back to the UK, get treated, and then fly back.
Treated for tonsillitis as well.
Get some antibiotics.
That's all I need. It's like I could tell them quite simply I had tonsillitis. I need some antibiotics.
Yeah.
And I have to pay for the pleasure. Yeah, there's I also understand, Calum, there's been some very sad news in the recent week, and that has actually accelerated our return.
Well, I'll say accelerated is one of the few catalysts. We put the odd thing in the group chat now and then. And this, as Luke mentioned, very sad news, especially if you're a follower of cryptocurrencies or any sort of online trading. That two of the biggest personalities, we could say, behind the memes that traders like to share, the Bogdanov twins, infamous on many platforms, have sadly passed away, both ironically of COVID-19.
Yeah, and I understand both were unvaccinated as well because, to quote themselves, they're in such great shape. So.
Well, yes, they said they were very sporty and not an inch of fat on them. I'm not sure how truthful those statements would be, given their physical appearance, but...
It's all muscle.
If you want to check their physical appearance, because you haven't heard of them or something, just go through any of our previous thumbnails and they'll be hiding somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think you might know who they are. I mean, I can give you a quick rundown if you want. Please bear with me 1 second.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you prepared to be bog-pilled?
Absolutely.
Fans of the Matrix. So the French, they are French twins. There's a long list of their many achievements and notorieties, etc., etc. So, for example, the Rothschilds, American, very, very wealthy family. Say conspiracy fans are very interested in their goings on. They bow to the Bogdanovs. So you've got the Rothschilds on one level, Bogdanovs slightly higher up, showing how much power they wield. They are also, another conspiracy area, in contact with aliens and possess psychic-like abilities. I mean, judging by their appearances, again, I would say we don't want to judge too much, but there are certainly some slightly less humane features on show there.
Yeah. I mean, I think, didn't their sister... I mean, you have to search them up on Google and you'll understand why we're talking about their appearance, but I swear their sister bought Newcastle United.
Oh, no, that's another one. That is some that's a scary look.
Yeah, it's proof that lizards and aliens exist now.
I know that if you want some, I'll say hard proof, something to get the old brain cogs whirring that lizard people exist, there you go. Just search Newcastle United owner. But yeah, back to the Bogdanovs. So with all this great power comes great responsibility. So they do control France with an iron but fair fist, but while still owning castles and global banks. They are direct descendants of the ancient royal bloodline and will bankroll the first cities on Mars, with Bogdangrad being the first city.
I like how you're referring to them in the present tense still.
Well, that's another
It's too sore a topic.
I think they've got plans beyond this mortal realm. I don't think beings as powerful as that would just succumb to a measly virus. And I say, what better way to cover up your death than with a virus that's claimed the lives of so many?
Especially 6 days apart, to be fair. I can see why people would be a bit suspicious of that.
Exactly, yeah.
Would they not die close apart to each other? Or do you think it'd be closer?
No, I don't think it would necessarily be close at all.
I'm assuming it's because they've seen each other and spread it to each other. That's what I assume.
I don't know. I suppose, yeah. To both die a bit.
I mean, it is quite rare, actually. I know the death rate is not very high, but I know they were quite old.
They were in the 70s, I think. Well, so 70 Earth years, we'll say. And I mean, their death could become a bit more of a suspicious, considering they own 99% of DNA editing research facilities on Earth. And the first designer babies will, in all likelihood, be Bogdanov babies.
Well, they look like them.
Well,
imagine baby looking at that.
I mean, this could be the new plane of human existence. What they're pioneering, given that they are descendants of ancient royal bloodlines, they could be what the perfect human is deemed to be. They have 215 IQs, and so such intelligence on Earth has only existed in deep Tibetan monasteries in Area 51. So they get more conspiracy stuff. They own nanobot research and development labs around the world, and you most likely have Bogdabots inside you right now.
Oh my god.
And they are in regular communication with the archangels Michael and Gabriel. Well, that's a limit of our knowledge on these strange beings, we'll say.
You said they were from a royal bloodline.
You're correct.
Do you know someone else who's from a royal bloodline who's been in the news lately?
I can hazard a guess. I imagine, given they have royal status, quite a few royals have been in the news because what their goings on are quite important. I think there is one that's caught the eye more than most.
Who's that?
Could it be Prince Andrew?
Could indeed, yeah. I mean, that whole situation is very interesting, to say the least. I think he's getting off with the main accuser because she signed a settlement in 2009 for £500,000 or $500,000 that she can't sue any of Epstein's mates or something along those lines. So he's getting off with that. But I mean, that whole thing just seems so shady.
I think, yeah.
That is Andrew's main line of defence. Not that he hasn't done it, but his main line of defence is that she can't legally sue him anymore because she took a $500,000 settlement.
That's admitting you've done it all but like illegal settings. Anyone from the outside looking in thinks, right, okay, there's proof there.
I mean, I don't think anyone in the UK, unless you're a real diehard royalist, is doubting what he's done. But I think I'm doubting very highly he'll get put away for it.
He won't. He absolutely won't.
But I think at the same time, like, he came on BBC and had an absolute shocker of an interview, and I've seen people saying that can be used in court because a lot of people feel like he just lied his way through that interview as proof that he was innocent. So if that can be picked apart in court, which I'm sure it probably can be because it was a load of crap. There's a whole Pizza Express thing, and he said, there's no witnesses to say I was in Pizza Express. If any person in the UK saw a royal in the Pizza Express, they would remember it, and they could be a witness, right?
You'd like to think so. I mean, no disrespect to Pizza Express, of course, but...
And also, what is a royal doing in Pizza Express?
There's no way he was in Pizza Express.
Well, treating a 17-year-old to a bit of pizza. I mean, I think I saw something from the judge. Well, the judge came out and said he find it difficult to throw the case out based on that, so there is hope he's going to get put down, or at least see justice.
Watch him end up becoming king somehow. Charles abdicates to him.
No, don't.
Kicks in the New World Order.
There would be so many, there'd be riots. I say, it'd just be embarrassing at this point in that case.
I don't think he's some way down.
Yeah.
I mean, you think if he had any self-awareness, he'd sort of maybe choose to abdicate himself if he were ever to find himself next in line. Yeah, but on the topic of Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, what do you think her fate's going to be, given that she probably does know a lot of information that could expose some very powerful people?
She'll be dead within 2 weeks. Judges will be online.
Sure.
Security guards will be online shopping.
It's so suspicious now.
No, she definitely won't.
Yeah, the whole world is Epstein didn't kill himself, which we have done an episode on. We've done an episode on it, and I think we've done a couple of shorter clip ones if anyone wants to check those out. But I think the whole world is so convinced, I think including us three, that Epstein didn't kill himself, that they wouldn't dare pull the same trick on her. But I will be interested to see what happens, Because there is always a risk she talks.
She's also got a new defence today as well. Because one of the members of the jury unlawfully persuaded other members of the jury to find her guilty. And I think her lawyer's defence is that that's not allowed and the case needs to be done again. Essentially, one of the jurors used his own personal experience of abuse to explain why what she did was so bad and hence persuade anyone who was on the fence.
How does she know that?
I don't think she knows it, but somehow, obviously, the lawyers
One
know
of the
it.
jurors said.
One of the jurors must have said, and obviously the lawyers picked up on that, and they want it redone because, I mean, I think legally speaking, you're not allowed to persuade other jurors.
That sounds, legally speaking, that sounds fair. But why do you even need to? I think when there's allegedly so much evidence against her.
Well, it depends how much money you're getting in your bank account as well from the lawyers.
Well, then it's a biased jury then in that case. So I don't know. They don't know how much influence these people have over well everything. If you believe some of the more deep-rooted conspiracies we've talked about on this podcast, it could just all be a show trial.
Well, exactly. If the corruption goes that high up, then show trial would be pretty reasonable to assume could happen.
If they stick a Ghislaine Maxwell body double in prison or whatever, then she's off living a life.
Speaking of Ghislaine Maxwell body doubles, have you seen the picture going round of, at the time of the Madeleine McCann disappearance, an eyewitness had like the police do an e-fit, like draw a picture of what she saw, and the character that was drawn bears a striking resemblance to Ghislaine Maxwell.
I've seen that actually, and yeah, it does look exactly like her.
Literally exactly like her, which would add an even more crazy layer to that McCann case, which again we have covered before.
I mean, that would be one hell of a crossover.
That would be just too much. I think that would be too much for me to just take that. We're not living in a simulation otherwise, because how are those two cases interlinked? That would be too spooky.
But equally, it does make sense, doesn't it?
I mean, it does make sense. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying wouldn't happen. I don't want to rule anything out, but it's just.
Have you seen the picture, Calum?
I don't think I've seen the picture, but I think we've talked about it before.
Are you able to Google it? We get a live reaction.
Oh yeah, I think so. Okay. So Matt.
Just type in Madeleine McCann, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. What the fuck? I've just seen one. There's 6, and one of them actually looks like Calum.
Okay, right. Wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
That is very, yeah. I mean, obviously these e-fit type things are not going to be perfect, but there's enough there to fake. I guess you're thinking.
The thing with this case as well, you think all's fine and well with the justice system and the people prosecuting her and the government and what's not. You'd think that surely they offer her a reduced sentence or a get out of jail free card on the basis she chunks a load of other people's names in and sorts this whole situation out, because it clearly extends deeply and she clearly knows a lot of the people involved. So
I think it goes too too many people connected to this that if anything gets out, there's so many people in high.
She's the one in the position of power in terms of the people who are linked with it, because she doesn't want to give names out, because if she gives names out, she's got no bargaining power. If she spills all the beans, she spills it. Yeah, she might ruin their careers, but then she's just going to get killed in prison anyway. So she kind of will want to drip feed them in order to kind of get a cushy life in jail or prison sentence. So I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think there's any guarantees we get names either way.
Yeah, I think everyone in the Black Book's guilty, and the fact that they haven't had their careers ruined off the back of liars.
But there's so many. There's such big names in that.
Yeah, which just shows how deep it goes, and this is only one of the rings. There's probably even greater rings out there that just haven't been exposed yet. You didn't see the Bogdanovs in the Black Book, put it that way.
Oh no, upstanding moral citizens. See, they rule with a firm but fair fist. But really weird to think what goes on in these elite rings, though, from the conspiracy theorist inside me. You say as much as Alex Jones gets memed for being a complete nut job, some of the stuff he discovered back in the day.
Bohemian Grove.
Exactly,
kind of a precursor to all this, wasn't it?
I would not be surprised if they're linked in somewhere. Names who are rocking up there definitely would have appeared in this Black Book.
Yeah.
Is that the male-only summer escape camp or whatever it is?
Yeah. Where they burn like a goat thing, and
it's like a tradition.
Satanic rituals.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think Bill Clinton went there, and I think Bush. But I mean, it's pretty libelous. That's not true, but I'm pretty sure they're the names I saw.
I don't think they're in any danger from us, legally speaking, but. If this is a straw that breaks the camel's back and exposes the paedophile rings that are controlling the world.
Is it
So
still
be it.
going?
What, Bohemian Grove? I'm not sure. I probably, because I think they say it's just like a gentleman's club sort of thing. So it's still.
Fancy a trip there next year then.
I don't
2022.
think we'd get in, but we could try.
I thought gentlemen's clubs were just smoking cigars and misogyny, not burning goats and ancient sacrifices and satanic rituals.
I think they'd smell a rat if we tried to get in. What's the name? Co-Conspirators Podcast.
Oh yeah, big fans, come on in. It's a proper investigative journalism.
How did Alex Jones get in? Did he actually get on, or did he break in?
I think it was the more of breaking in.
Oh, there we go. There's our way in then. Simple.
But I also think he was more of just a normal kind of journalist at that time, wasn't he? So there wasn't the suspicion.
Oh yeah, because they're going to be suspicious of us because they know who we are, don't they?
Well, we're just not higher. We haven't got friends in the right place as well.
Hey, we got decent accents. We can pretend to be gentlemen.
10,000 plays on Anchor. Opens a few doors. Yeah,
exactly. 10,000 plays. There you go.
Which is kind of crazy to think. We started this as on a whim in lockdown. We're coming back for round 2.
Oh, California is our most populous state actually in America, so maybe we will get recognised instantly.
Be recognised just by the sound of our voice. That'll be. I don't know what I would think if someone actually recognised me. Obviously, as absurd as it sounds, it's never going to happen. But imagine it.
I don't think they could, because it's just facial features. You do well to get a doppelganger. Obviously, you got people who look like you, but a voice twin, you'll have a voice. There's so many voice twins out there, surely.
I hope not. I mean, I don't like the sound of my voice, but.
Sound a bit like Louis Armstrong, Calum.
Poor guy got mine.
I mean, everyone hates the sound of their own voice anyway. It's just, I don't know why. They just do. That's not even a conspiracy.
It's just because it's not what you sound like when you hear yourself, is it?
Yeah.
You hear yourself and then you listen to yourself and it's not what you're used to and it just freaks you out a bit.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, so while we've all discussed how much we hate the sounds of our own voices, I think that might be an appropriate place to draw this one to a close. So obviously, quite a little bit short, quite a lot shorter than what we normally put out. We're just trying to experiment with some new formats. Given we've got a lot less time on our hands to dedicate to long-form discussions and complex conspiracy theories and our fan-favourite game Conspiracy, which we will hopefully see a return sometime in the future.
We will definitely be bringing that back.
That is a trademark, copyright, got the board game coming out, sign the deals. It's big thing expected from it.
This episode is mainly just to say we're back, baby, and you'll probably see or hear from us a few times in 2022, and hopefully we'll have some more structured formatting in the next months for you. I
mean, it's a crazy world out there. It continues to get crazier, that's for sure. So I think we'll say thank you everyone for tuning in. I've been your host, Calum, joined by John.
Thanks everyone.
And Luke.
Don't change the state. Got all this.
Keep challenging the status quo.
Oh, that's it.
Don't go changing it.
I nearly said don't change the status quo. Yeah.
We've been bought out by different people.
Yeah.
Keep challenging.
Get in line, sheep.
And keep challenging that status quo.